Vanished in the dark. The haunting mystery of A.A. Quintal. The night of October 17, 2019, was cold and silent in the deep wilderness of northern Michigan. Miles from the nearest neighbor, a remote two-story family cabin stood alone, swallowed by an ocean of trees, their skeletal branches clawing at the sky. Inside, A.A. Quintal, a 47-year-old woman, sat awake in the dim glow of her living room. She had taken a sleeping pill over an hour ago, yet sleep still evaded her. Anxiety gnawed at her mind, leaving her restless. Shadows seemed to shift in the corners of the room, flickering in the weak light of the cabin. Her dog lay near the door, its ears occasionally twitching, as if listening to something beyond the wooden walls, something unseen. She needed air. Slipping on a jacket, A.A. grabbed her flashlight and stepped into the suffocating darkness. The cold night air pressed against her skin, and the scent of damp earth and pine filled her nose. She flicked open her lighter, her hands trembling slightly as she lit a cigarette. The only sound was the rhythmic crunch of her footsteps on the gravel path. Then her dog stiffened. The animal's ears perked up. A low growl rumbled from deep in its throat. It was sensing something. A prickle of unease crawled up A.A.'s spine. She slowly raised her flashlight, the beam slicing through the ink-black void, and then eyes. Two pale, glowing orbs reflected the light, staring at her from the shadows. Her breath caught in her throat. A mountain lion. It was motionless, its muscular body hidden in the underbrush, watching, waiting. A.A.'s heartbeat thundered in her chest as she slowly reached into her pocket, fingers curling around the cold grip of her 9mm pistol. She did not blink. Then the mountain lion vanished. It was as if the darkness itself had swallowed it whole. A.A. exhaled sharply, her fingers tightening around her dog's leash. She had to get back inside. Something outside. Once inside, she locked the door with shaking hands. The warm glow of the lights should have calmed her. They didn't. She grabbed her phone and quickly texted her boyfriend about the mountain lion encounter. She hit send and exhaled, forcing herself to relax. Then, snap! A faint sound outside, a twig breaking. A.A.'s breath hitched. Something was moving. She turned toward the living room window. Her own reflection stared back at her, wide-eyed and pale. But beyond that, just beyond the glow of the porch light, a shadow moved. Her pulse pounded in her ears. A human shape stood outside the window, still, watching, motionless. A shiver crawled up her spine. This wasn't the mountain lion. This was something worse. The attack. Hard hammering, A.A. lunged for her gun and dove behind the couch. Her voice trembled as she shouted, "I'm armed! If you come in here, I'll shoot!" Silence. Only the wind whispered against the glass, the distant cry of an owl breaking the eerie stillness. Then, footsteps on the porch. She fumbled with her phone, her fingers numb with fear. She dialed her boyfriend's number. No answer. Desperation clawed at her. She called a friend, her breath ragged as soon as they answered. "There's someone outside," she gasped. Her friend's voice was urgent. "I'm calling the police." No, wait." She needed to be sure. Gun in hand, she crept toward the kitchen window, the one overlooking the front porch. Slowly, cautiously, she peered through the glass. Nothing. No one was there. A nervous laugh bubbled up in her throat. Was she imagining things? She turned back toward the living room and froze. Two figures stood at the living room window, watching her. Guns raised. Before she could react, gunfire erupted. Glass shattered, the explosion of bullets ripping through the walls. A.A. dropped to the floor and fired back, her ears ringing from the deafening blasts. One of the intruders' heads jerked back, then silence. The gunfire stopped. The air was thick with the acrid stench of gunpowder. Then, footsteps upstairs. A.A.'s stomach dropped. Someone was inside the house. She had two choices, run or fight. She took a breath, gripped her gun tighter, and began to climb the stairs. The Vanishing. When police arrived, the cabin was a war zone. Bullet holes riddled the walls. Shattered glass littered the floors. But there was no A.A. Her dog cowered in the corner, unharmed but trembling. The search began. Then something bizarre. A.A.'s shoes and phone were found on the roof. Her gun lay abandoned in the yard. No blood, no bodies, no sign of a struggle. The horrifying truth. 2 months later, her body was found in a shallow pond 300 yards from the cabin. No gunshot wounds, no bruises, no signs of a struggle. Just dead. Then came the autopsy. AA had taken Valium that night, but also meth. The figures in the window? Hallucinations. The gunfight. She was shooting at her own reflection. Paranoid and terrified, she had fled, climbed onto the roof, dropped her phone and shoes,